Welcome back to the 3-Hour News Show. You are now watching our signature segment, See the Stories. Now, I obviously spend a lot of my time on social media like Instagram, but it's always really nice to find content that's very relatable, really, how do you say, good at capturing emotions, relationships, and, life moments that come and happen every day. And it's always really nice, particularly when I run into Sunday Kids, who's one of the artists, actually, Pratchaya Mahapauraya, is connected with us right now for See the Stories. So we're going to be interviewing her a little bit to get to know her thoughts behind Sunday Kids and, where her ideas and inspirations and styles come from as well. So Pratchaya Mahapauraya, thank you so much for taking the time to join our interview here at See today. I'm actually very keen to have this conversation with you because I follow you and I'm quite a fan of your comics. They're very relatable. Now, first of all, can you please share with us a story behind the creation of Sunday Kids? What really inspired you to start this movement, let's say?
Okay, so I have to say that when the kids are two people, so me, Pratchaya, and then another person is Kavin. So he's an art director and I'm an illustrator. So we started when we were in the last year of university. So actually the first idea was from Kavin because it was our last year and I don't really know what to do next when I graduated, and he mentioned that maybe we could, maybe start an illustration career since that's what I always love to do, and it's one of many field subjects that I'm good at, So yeah, he suggested that. So we started from making a Facebook page, and then we kind of put our work in there so more people can see our work and kind of like a portfolio of sorts. Yeah, and then when Facebook is growing, we continue to Instagram. So yeah.
Okay, so tell us about the growth. I mean, you started out on Facebook in what year exactly?
It was 10 years ago, so I think 2014, 15. So it's gonna be 10 years this year. Yeah, okay. It's a long time.
Right, so 10 years this year. It must have been quite shocking, especially given how 2014 was sort of the end of the beginning, if you will, of the kind of massive age of social media for your comics, for your stories to blow up like that. How was that like? What did it feel like?
Actually, when we started, I think Facebook is a thing, back then. So everyone was using Facebook a lot, and we see that opportunity to put our work there. So yeah, I think it's quite easy back then, I think.
Okay, and so how did you develop your, unique art style, and what influences or experiences have shaped it?
So I personally, and also Kevin, we like to read comics, and watch cartoons. In Thailand, when we were kids, we will watch Cartoon Network a lot. And I also read Japanese manga too. So I think the Western and the Asian style kind of mix together and becomes our style.
Obviously, that must have been quite, how do you say, that must be influenced by your experience as well, because if I'm not mistaken, you did study in the States as well, didn't you?
Yeah, actually we studied together in university. We studied graphic designs, and I think that kind of was a big part of our style too. But I gotta say, usually style-wise, as I say, we combine the Western and Asian style that we like, and then for experience, I think it comes to it translates to the content, I think.
It's very interesting how your experiences and kind of your, particularly I like to say your experience with different cultures, enabled you to kind of create this unique art style, but also create kind of like a unique perspective as well, because that's very clearly seen on Sunday Kids, you know. And speaking of which, the name Sunday Kids, where did that come from? How does it, you know, represent you guys, and how does it relate to your work as well? Because I'm really curious about that.
So actually we came up with the name because we don't want to use our names, because my name is very hard to pronounce, you know. At first I was gonna like, should we use our name? But my name is, even Thai people, it's hard to pronounce. So we want to make up a name that represents our art style. So if we, I have to say, it's a very long story, the background of this name, but long story short, I think with the name, you can relate the name with our art style, you know. It's very vibrant, it's kind of childish, you know, like kids like, and then I think it represents our style very well.
Yeah, very relatable, right? And obviously this is kind of like a, you know, it's a team effort between you and Kevin. Could you walk us through your creative process? Because I can imagine if you're kind of like an artist working by yourself, then it must be quite easy for you to, let's say, you know, come up with an idea and then just hash it out for yourself. Whereas if you had to work with another artist, you'd have to kind of come up with some form of agreement, wouldn't you? For something to be able to work out. So what's that like, you know, trying to work with another artist to come up with kind of like a shared vision?
As I mentioned, I'm an illustrator and he is an art director. So, but usually we will work together on every project. First, when we got the brief or concept from clients, we will always discuss. We will maybe take like half an hour to think of an ideas on what we want to do and how we want to portray this idea, and then we will discuss a lot. So the concept we will come up with it together, the execution we will come up together, and then when it comes to creating an artwork, usually I will do the sketch, but he will do like art direction, and maybe if it comes to comics, he will be the one who decide this panel should be this perspective, this one should be a close-up or things like that. So he will go into the details, and then when I sketch, and we will, you know, discuss again a lot, and then I will do the drawing, and then he will do the coloring. So this is the part that we, you know, separately do. I draw, he colors, and then I do the details, the small details, and then if that's, you know, if we both like that work, that's done. But if we don't like that work, it's gonna go to our storage, and yeah, there's so many of them right now. we have to both agree that we really like this piece, you know, to publish to the public.
Yeah. Okay, so how would you guys kind of, you know, overcome disagreement between, let's say, creative direction or perhaps just your opinion towards a certain piece of work, for example?
As I mentioned, we study together, so there will be things that he's very good at, he's better than me, and there's things that I'm good at. So we know our capability, and we know how each other, you know, working together for 10 years, we know like how each other thinks already. So yeah, I think I also trust him on, you know, his perspective, and he trusts me on that too. So when it comes to discussing which one is the best idea, I think it's very easy to decide when we, like, you know, discuss together.
Okay, so it sounds like a very healthy work relationship that you guys have together. And of course, many of the illustrations that you guys come up with together feature a lot of, relatable life moments, like things from being at home and kind of just going about your day, being in a relationship as well, things like that, where you kind of have, or, where you kind of show just interesting things happening and perhaps something a little bit more introspective as well. How do you decide which themes to explore in your art? Does it come from the clients, or does it just come from like, oh, I had this experience one day, I think that's really funny, I should make that into a comic? Like, how does it work for you guys?
At first, when we started, in the early years, we explore a lot on how, like, what content we want to do. We try many things, like maybe politics, maybe about works, about many things. But at the end of the day, I always choose the content about relationship, because I think it's very relatable and it's something that we face all the time, like every day. So I think, yeah, it's my personal preference, I think. Yeah. And usually when it comes to like inspirations or idea behind that, most of the time it's a real life experience. Maybe not from us, but maybe some friends. Some friends would be like, hey, what happened to me? And then, I will write it down and then turn it into a comic, something like that. Or sometimes it just comes from like a quote from movies or books, or we just heard like a very nice lyrics from the song. So it comes from like everywhere. But usually we will just pick the one that we think, we like and relate to us.
Is that kind of like how you guys stay true to yourself and to your artistic vision, while also being able to, resonate with your audience by kind of like choosing and selecting and creating artworks that are relatable to you, but are also very relatable to a kind of wider audience?
As I mentioned, we usually like choose to do the contents that we relate, or the contents, the moment that we like. So we come from us first, but then if the audience like the same thing as us, that is like a bonus. But we focus on ourselves first.
Okay, so very much kind of staying true to yourselves and the kind of message that you'd like to convey, right? And obviously you and Kevin are, from Thailand, but you also mentioned that your art style is influenced by both kind of Western aspects, but in many ways by Eastern aspects as well, from Asian aspects. Would you say that you'd also like to, that you're also interested in exploring perhaps other cultures that might perhaps influence your art styles into a new direction as well?
We've never like do very traditional style or very traditional content that much, because we don't think it suits our, style right now. But if there's good opportunity, we definitely want to try it. But right now, I think the cultural aspect or like the Asian views usually translate into the content, I think, because I think Asian people have like different views on Western, and I think that's what you see in our comics.
Yeah, completely different experiences as well, right? Particularly for diaspora such as yourselves living in the United States. And so looking forward, what are your goals for Sunday Kids in the future? Or perhaps are there any upcoming projects or new directions that you're excited about? And if I'm not mistaken, you are coming to Jakarta this month as well, aren't you? So tell us a little bit more about that. How did you get to wanting to come to Jakarta? Is it for a holiday? Is it for work? Or?
Answer one question at a time, okay? So the first one, I think, our future, we don't have any specific plan yet, but we think we want to explore more and work with other people from many different countries more. And we are excited about our upcoming exhibition, which will be happening this year in Thailand. it's gonna be our 10 years anniversary exhibition, so it's gonna be like the biggest one we have so far, and yeah, we are very excited about that. And for Jakarta, we're going to JICAF, so Jakarta Illustration and Creative Arts Fair. So it's gonna be in this month. We're going to be there on September 19th to September 22nd. If you guys are, if you guys want to see us, yeah, feel free to stop by and say hi.
Now you mentioned an exhibition. I want to know about that, the one in Thailand. What's the plan? Because it's going to be quite a big celebration, I imagine, of your 10th anniversary. What's it going to be like, and when can we come visit, do you think?
The exhibition will be starting from November. I don't think I can tell you the date yet, but it's going to be November until January, so it's going to be plenty of time. You can, stop by anytime, fly to Thailand, fly to Bangkok, come visit us. And it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be 10 years anniversary, so it's going to collect, our, what can I say now? It's about our journey of working together for 10 years. And yeah, it's going to be a huge event for us. So we decided to, after our exhibition in Bangkok, we will go to other countries too. So please stay tuned and we will update on our page.
All right, well, we're certainly looking forward to hearing about that, and we are certainly looking forward to seeing how Sunday Kids develops into the future. In the meantime, Pratchaya, thank you so much for your time. Best of luck with everything, and once again, happy 10th anniversary to you guys.
Thank you for having me today.
And of course, that was our conversation with Pratchaya Mahapauraya of the Sunday Kids. Always a very interesting conversation when interviewing with people who draw comics, because obviously they take a lot of inspiration from their everyday life, and they somehow make that into content that's very relatable, not only for me, but for the nearly 800,000 people who follow them just on Instagram alone as well. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they develop into the future, and certainly when they come to Jakarta, I certainly hope that I'll be able to visit them at the booth as well. But anyway, that's the end of our conversation with Sunday Kids, but certainly not the end of See the Story, so stay tuned because the 3-hour news show will be back with more See the Stories in the next segment.